There is a grace that opens doors no key can unlock. There is a grace that lifts a person beyond qualification. There is a grace that turns ordinary lives into extraordinary testimonies. That grace is called favor. A favor is the invisible hand of heaven resting upon a life. It is the divine advantage that causes a person to stand out even in a crowded world. Many people work hard. Many people are talented. Many people are educated, but there are some people who carry something beyond talent, beyond connections. They carry favor. And when favor begins to work in a life, things begin to change in ways that cannot be explained by human logic. Doors begin to open. Help begin to appear, opportunities begin to locate them. People begin to support them without even knowing why. This is the grace called favor. Tonight, we are not just talking about favor as a concept. We are talking about a divine reality that can transform a life, because when favor touches a person, the story changes. A man may struggle for years trying to rise, but one moment of favor can lift him higher than years of effort. A woman may feel forgotten and overlooked, but when favor speaks, she suddenly becomes remembered and celebrated. Favor has the power to turn rejection into acceptance. It has the power to turn delay into acceleration. It has the power to turn weakness into strength. And this is the grace we are exploring today. Understanding the grace called favor. Favor is not merely luck. Favor is not coincidence. A favor is not random. Favor is divine kindness expressed in a person's life. It is when heaven decides to smile upon someone. It is when the unseen hand of God begins to arrange circumstances in that person's favor. When favor rests upon someone, the rules begin to bend, tend to happen quickly. Things that should take years begin to happen quickly. Things that seemed impossible begin to become possible. A favor is the difference between labor and lifting. Many people labor, but favor lifts. Many people struggle, but favor elevates. Many people push doors, but favor causes doors to open automatically. That is the mystery of favor. And the truth is this: every great story of transformation, favor is speaking behind every unexpected opportunity. Favor is working behind every miraculous turnaround. Favor is moving. A favor is the quiet force behind visible success. And when a person begins to understand this grace, they stop depending only on their own strength. They begin to seek the grace that multiplies their efforts. The power of favor, one moment of favor, can change the trajectory of a life forever. Think about how many people spend decades trying to reach a certain position, yet sometimes someone else arrives there suddenly. What is the difference? Favor. Favor accelerates progress. It compresses time. It multiplies results. It connects people with the right opportunities at the right moment. When favor is active, people encounter helpers they never expected. They meet people who open doors. They receive support from unlikely places. Even those who once ignored them begin to notice them. Favor changes how people see you. It places a special grace upon your life that attracts goodwill. People begin to want to help you. People begin to want to support your vision. People begin to want to see you succeed. And sometimes they cannot even explain why. That is the grace called favor. It is the divine spotlight that highlights a person among many others. The difference between effort and favor: effort is important. Hard work is important. Discipline is important. But effort without favor can become exhausting. There are people who work harder than anyone else, yet they struggle constantly. And there are people who seem to move forward with unusual ease. The difference is often favor. Favor does not eliminate effort, but it amplifies effort. When favor joins your effort, your labor begins to produce extraordinary results. One idea can become a breakthrough. One opportunity can become a lifetime platform. One connection can transform an entire destiny. That is why wise people seek not only success, they seek favor, because favor is the force that turns small beginnings into great outcomes. Favor changes identity. When favor rests upon someone, their identity begins to change. They are no longer seen as ordinary. People begin to recognize something unique about them. Doors that were previously closed suddenly become accessible. Spaces that once seemed unreachable suddenly become available. Favor introduces a person into rooms they were never invited to before. A favor causes a person to sit at tables they never imagined sitting at. Favor lifts a person from obscurity into visibility. And sometimes this happens so suddenly that people cannot understand it. They ask questions, they speculate, they wonder what happened. But those who understand grace know the answer. It is the grace called favor. Favor works in unexpected ways. Favor does not always arrive in predictable forms. Sometimes it appears through unexpected people. Sometimes it arrives through challenges that later become blessings. Sometimes it comes through a single conversation. Sometimes it comes to an opportunity that looks small at first, but later it reveals itself as a turning point. Favor often hides inside ordinary moments. A meeting that seems routine becomes life changing. A small opportunity becomes a global platform. A simple act of kindness becomes the seed of a powerful relationship. That is how favor works. It moves quietly at first, but later its impact becomes undeniable. The atmosphere of favor, favor thrives in certain environments. It grows where humility lives. It multiplies where gratitude flows. It increases where faith remains strong. People who carry favor understand that life is not only about personal achievement. They recognize that grace is involved. They appreciate the unseen help that accompanies them. And this attitude attracts even more favor because when someone honors grace, grace increases. When someone appreciates favor, favor your life. Many people are experiencing favor without realizing it. They focus so much on what they lack that they forget to see what they have received. But favor is often already at work. The protection you experience, the people who helped you unexpectedly, the doors that open when you thought everything was closed, those moments are not accidents, they are signs of favor. When you begin to recognize favor, your perspective changes. Instead of seeing life only through struggle, you begin to see it through grace. Instead of focusing only on obstacles, you begin to notice opportunities. Instead of expecting disappointment, you begin to expect divine surprises. And that mindset attracts even more favor. Preparing for greater favor, favor grows where preparation exists, when opportunity meets preparation. Favor becomes visible. That is why people must not only pray for favor, they must prepare for it. Develop your gifts, strengthen your character, improve your skills, grow in wisdom. Because when favor opens a door, you must be ready to walk through it. Favor may open the door, but preparation helps you stay in the room. The responsibility, if as favor is a gift, but it is also a responsibility. When someone receives favor, they must use it wisely. Favor is not meant only for personal comfort, it is meant to create impact. It is meant to bless others. It is meant to bring positive change. Those who carry favor become channels of blessing. Their success becomes an opportunity to lift others. Their influence becomes a platform for good. Their progress becomes a testimony that inspires others. That is the true purpose of favor. A strong conclusion. The grace called favor is real. It is powerful. It is transformative. It lifts the overlooked. It promotes the humble. It accelerates the faithful. It opens doors that no human effort could open. And when this grace begins to work in a life, the impossible becomes possible. So never underestimate the power of favor. Never limit what favor can do. Never doubt that favor can change your story, because one moment of favor can accomplish what years of struggle could not achieve. One moment of favor can rewrite the narrative of a life. One moment of favor can turn a forgotten name into a celebrated testimony. And when favor speaks, the world listens. When favor moves, doors open. When favor rests upon a life, destiny awakens. So rise with confidence, walk with expectation, believe with courage, because the grace called favor is not distant. It is not reserved for a select few. It is a divine gift waiting to manifest in the lives of those who dare to believe. And when it arrives, everything changes. Favor is a mysterious yet powerful expression of grace that places a divine advantage upon a person's life. It is not something that can be earned by effort alone, nor is it something that can be fully explained by human reasoning. Favor is the kindness of heaven resting upon an individual, causing things to happen in ways that exceed natural expectations. It is the unseen force that lifts a person beyond their qualification, beyond their background, and even beyond their own limitations. Many people in this world possess talent, intelligence, and determination, yet there are moments when someone with fewer visible advantages suddenly rises and succeeds in ways that surprise everyone. The difference is often the grace called favor. There are countless individuals who work tirelessly every day. They wake up early, they invest their energy, they develop their skills, and they give their best effort. Hard work is important and valuable, but hard work alone does not always explain why one person advances while another remains in the same place. Sometimes two people may have the same level of education, the same experience, and the same dedication, yet one of them experiences opportunities that the other never encounters. One finds open doors while the other keeps knocking. One is noticed in a crowded room while the other remains unseen. In such moments, the quiet but powerful influence of favor becomes evident. Favor causes a person to stand out among many others in a world filled with competition where countless people are striving to be recognized. Favor has the ability to highlight a life in remarkable ways. It draws attention without arrogance and creates opportunities without manipulation. A person carrying favor may not always be the loudest voice or the most aggressive personality, but something about their presence begins to attract goodwill and recognition. People begin to see potential where others may have overlooked it before. They begin to extend trust, offer support, and open doors that on it seemed firmly closed. When favor rests upon someone, doors begin to open that human strength alone could never open. There are doors in life that cannot be forced by determination alone. Some doors require influence, some require timing, and some require an unseen touch that rearranges circumstances. Favor has the power to move hearts, change decisions, and create pathways where none previously existed. A meeting that seemed unlikely suddenly becomes possible. A conversation that appeared ordinary becomes a turning point. An opportunity that seemed out of reach suddenly becomes accessible. These moments are often the quiet fingerprints of favor at work. Opportunities begin to appear in ways that cannot easily be predicted. Sometimes favor positions a person in the right place at the right time. Other times it connects them with individuals who are willing to guide, mentor, support them. Helpers arise unexpectedly. People who recognize potential and choose to invest in it. These helpers may offer encouragement, resources, advice, or access to spaces that would have been difficult to enter alone. Their presence becomes part of the unfolding story of favor, demonstrating that no one rises completely by themselves. Often, favor works through relationships, placing the right people on the path at exactly the moment they are needed. As favor continues to work, situations begin to align in ways that create progress and momentum. Circumstances that once seemed complicated may suddenly become simpler. Problems that appeared overwhelming begin to find solutions. The path forward, once filled with obstacles, begins to clear gradually. This does not mean that challenges disappear entirely, but it does mean that the journey becomes marked by unusual support and unexpected breakthroughs. What once required constant struggle begins to move forward with greater ease, not because effort has disappeared, but because grace has joined that effort. The grace of favor is often described as the invisible hand of God working behind the scenes to elevate a life. It operates quietly without drawing attention to itself, yet its results become visible over time. Many people only see the outcome of favor, the promotion, the opportunity, the recognition, or the success. What they do not see is the subtle movement of grace that prepared the way long before the outcome appeared. Favor arranges meetings that seem coincidental. It influences decisions made by people who may never fully understand why they chose to support someone. It creates moments of connection and possibility that later prove to be life-changing because favor works in ways that cannot always be traced. It often surprises those who experience it. A person may suddenly realize that their life has shifted in a direction expected. Doors that once felt permanently closed are now open. Dreams that once seemed distant now feel achievable. This realization often produces deep gratitude because it becomes clear that something greater than personal ability has been involved in the journey. Favor does not eliminate the importance of effort, character, or preparation. Instead, it magnifies them. With favor, the results become extraordinary. A small opportunity can turn into a great platform. A single idea can grow into a powerful movement. A single connection can open a chain of possibilities that reshape an entire future. The presence of favor turns ordinary moments into defining moments, and it transforms simple beginnings into meaningful accomplishments. In this way, favor becomes more than a momentary advantage. It becomes a continuing grace that guides, supports, and elevates a life. It reminds people that success is not only about that they can achieve by their own same kindness that makes progress possible. Through favor, a person discovers that grace has the power to lift them higher than they ever imagined and to position them in places they once thought were beyond their reach. There is a remarkable dimension of grace that changes the speed at which things happen in a person's life, and that dimension is favor. Favor has the power to accelerate progress in ways that cannot always be explained by human calculation. Many people understand progress as something that must take a very long time. They believe that advancement must always follow a slow and predictable path, step by step, year after year, one. While patience and perseverance are important, there are moments when the grace of favor enters a person's journey and changes the timeline entirely, where distance begins to draw near and what once appeared impossible begins to unfold with surprising speed. Favor has the ability to compress time. It can take what might normally require many years of struggle and transform it into a shorter journey filled with sudden breakthroughs. A person may spend years preparing, learning, and developing their abilities, yet when favor begins to operate, the results of that preparation begin to appear rapidly. Opportunities arise that allow those years of preparation to bear fruit in a powerful way. What once felt like slow progress suddenly becomes visible advancement, and the path forward becomes clearer than ever before. In many situations, people measure success according to the length of time it takes to achieve something. They assume that a certain level of recognition, influence, or stability can only be reached after decades of effort. But favor has the power to alter that expectation. It does not eliminate the need for diligence or dedication, but a testament of grace that speeds up the process. Instead of moving forward inch by inch, a person begins to experience leaps and strides that carry them much farther than they anticipated. One of the ways favor accelerates progress is by multiplying the results of effort. Every person invests effort in some form. People study, they practice, they work long hours, and they strive to improve their abilities. Yet the results of that effort can vary greatly from one person to another. Favor has the ability to take ordinary effort and produce extraordinary outcomes. A simple idea can gain attention far beyond what was expected. A project that seems small at first can suddenly expand and reach a much wider audience. A single step forward can lead to a series of new opportunities that continue to build upon each other. When favor multiplies effort, even small actions begin to carry great impact. Words spoken at the right moment can inspire people in powerful ways. A decision made with wisdom can open doors that affect many lives. A small beginning can grow into something significant and influential. In these moments, it becomes clear that something beyond human effort is working quietly in the background, amplifying the results and turning ordinary actions into meaningful achievements. Another powerful aspect of favor is the way it brings the right connections at the right time. The people we meet, the conversations we have, and the opportunities we encounter all play a role in shaping our journey. Favor has a remarkable way of arranging these connections so that they appear exactly when they are needed. A single introduction can lead to an opportunity that changes everything. A brief meeting can become the beginning of a partnership that opens new paths of growth and influence. Sometimes a person may spend years searching for the right opportunity, wondering when their moment will arrive. Then suddenly, through a single conversation or a single meeting, everything begins to change. An opportunity appears that aligns perfectly with their abilities and dreams. Doors that once seemed impossible to enter suddenly open. The direction of their life begins to shift, and they realize that one moment of favor has done what years of striving could not accomplish alone. Favor also has the power to reposition a person in places they never imagined themselves reaching. There are moments when someone finds themselves standing in rooms they once only dreamed about. They begin to interact with people they once admired from a distance. They discover that their voice is being heard and their ideas are being valued in ways they never expected. These experiences are often the result of favor creating a pathway that leads beyond familiar boundaries. What makes these moments so remarkable is that they often arrive unexpectedly. In the best with the opportunities they currently have, when suddenly something changes. An invitation arrives, a door opens, or a new possibility emerges. In what feels like a brief moment, they find themselves moving into a new season filled with greater visibility, influence, and responsibility. This acceleration does not happen because the person suddenly became more talented overnight. It happens because favor begins to operate in ways that elevate their efforts and position them for greater impact. The preparation that once seemed unnoticed becomes valuably developed, begin to shine. The persistence that once felt lonely becomes a foundation for new opportunities. When favor accelerates progress, it often inspires a sense of awe and gratitude. People begin to realize that either their journey is not solely the result of personal determination. They recognize that grace has been involved, guiding their steps and opening doors at the right moment. This realization brings humility and appreciation because it reminds them that progress is not only about striving, but also about receiving the unseen support that makes extraordinary advancement possible. In this way, favor becomes a powerful force that moves faster than they ever imagined. It turns years of preparation into visible success. It transforms small beginnings into meaningful platforms. It brings connections, opportunities, and breakthroughs that reshape the direction of a life. And through its quiet but powerful influence, favor reveals that progress can sometimes happen in moments that change everything. As we come to the end of this reflection on the grace called favor, it is important to remember that favor is not simply a beautiful idea or an inspiring word. It is a living reality that has the power to transform the course of our life. Throughout history and throughout everyday life, countless stories reveal how favor lifts people beyond their limitations and places them in positions they once thought were impossible to reach. It is the quiet but powerful expression of divine kindness that works behind the scenes, arranging moments, aligning circumstance, and opening doors that no human strength alone could open. Favor reminds us that life is not determined only by our abilities, our resources, or our connections. While effort, discipline, and preparation are important, there is another dimension that makes the difference between ordinary progress and extraordinary advancement. That dimension is grace. When favor rests on a life, even the smallest step forward can become the beginning of a remarkable journey. What once seemed difficult begins to be unmanageable, and what once felt distant begins to draw closer. Many people spend their lives striving to be noticed, striving to be accepted, striving to reach opportunities that appear far beyond their reach. Yet favor has the power to change that struggle into a story of unexpected elevation. It can bring recognition where there was once obscurity. It can create opportunities where there were once obstacles. And it can bring support from people who were once strangers and transform them into helpers along the journey. The grace of favor does not always announce itself loudly. Often it moves quietly and patiently, preparing the way long before its results become visible. A meeting that seemed ordinary becomes a defining moment. A small opportunity becomes a turning point. A connection made in passing becomes the key that opens a new season of growth and influence. Up in these moments, people begin to realize that something greater than their own plans has been guiding their steps. Understanding favor also changes the way a person walks through life. It encourages humility because those who experience favor know that their success is not only the result of their own effort. It encourages gratitude because they recognize that unseen kindness has helped them move forward, and it encourages faith because they understand that if favor has worked before, it can continue to work in the future. Every person carries dreams, hopes, and visions for what their life can become. Sometimes those dreams feel far away, hidden behind obstacles and uncertainties. But the grace called favor has the ability to bring those dreams closer than we ever expect. It has the power to shorten the distance between where a person is and where they are meant to be. It has the power to transform preparation into operating into progress. When favor begins to operate in a life, it changes not only the circumstances around the person, but also the way they see themselves. It replaces doubt with confidence and replaces fear with expectation. Instead of believing that the future will be limited by the past, a person begins to believe that new possibilities are always within reach. They begin to walk with a sense of hope, knowing that unseen grace is capable of opening doors that have never been opened before. The beauty of favor is that it does not belong only to a select few, therefore has a way of finding people in unexpected places. It lifts the overlooked, strengthens the humble, and positions ordinary individuals to accomplish extraordinary things. It reminds us that greatness is not always the result of status or privilege, but often the result of grace working through a willing and faithful life. As we move forward, let us carry this understanding deeply within us. Let us continue to prepare, to grow, and to pursue our purpose with dedication. But at the same time, let us remain open to the grace that can elevate our efforts and transform our journey. Let's walk with confidence, knowing that favor can open doors that we cannot open by ourselves and lead us into places we never imagined. There will be moments when the path seems uncertain, moments when the future appears unclear. Yet even in those moments, the grace of favor is capable of working quietly in the background. It is preparing opportunities that are yet to appear, aligning circumstances that are yet to unfold, and positioning people and moments that will shape the next chapter of the journey. And when that grace begins to reveal itself, everything can change. Doors will open, paths will clear, possibilities will expand. What once seemed impossible will begin to take shape before our eyes. So let us move forward with faith, gratitude and expectation. Let us believe that the grace called favor is able to transform effort into success, preparation into opportunity, and dreams into reality. And when favor speaks over life, it does more than simply open a door. It begins a new story, a story of elevation, purpose, and impact that reaches far beyond anything we could have imagined